Hey, thanks for tuning in to Music Marvels. I'm Achickwitbeatz.
And I'm Breezy Gipson.
And we're glad that you're with us today. We've got a show lined up for you that we know that you're going to enjoy. We have a music interview coming up. We also have music industry news. And of course, there's some beats by yours truly sprinkled in there.
Yeah, well, hey, that's a dynamic combination right there. Music industry news and then some of your beats, sprinkled in. Hey, so give me an ice cream cone for that. Double. Give me a double.
Love it. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump in. Stick around.
Yeah, I want my 2 scoops. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are on the globe. This is Breezy Gipson right here on the Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz show. And so we've got a lot going on today with a special guest. And so without any further ado, we're going to bring her right on the line, the one and only Ms. Sax. And we'll let her give you her full name and on all of the platforms. So without any further ado, let's get going. How are you today, man?
I am great. How are you?
Excellent. And so as we get started, let everybody know where you are and what your social media names are so they can write that down and start following you right away.
Well, I am located right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Recently just came down here. Wonderful city. I have social medias on Facebook. You can find me at Brittany Atterberry on Facebook. On Instagram, you can find me at Ms. Lady Sax. And also at my website at www.brittanyatterberry.com, where you'll find my store and my music and a ton of other cool things.
Okay. All right. So as we get going now, here, we put a premium on a platform for women in business, especially music business. Okay. All right. So, this isn't just lollygag about, what's going on in sales over there on the store. We're talking about the elements of business and how it impacts our listeners, how it impacts you, our special guests, and so forth. So share with our listeners, who is Miss Lady Sax, where you came from, and what it is you represent on Earth today.
Well, all right. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised. I grew up there playing saxophone from college on. Actually, got started with saxophone a little bit later. I did get a chance to play it in high school for about, a couple months, if you will, but not too long. The first instrument I played was actually the clarinet, and I played that since 4th grade. So there's a little bit of the background with the music. And this year I just released 2 singles, one titled Starting Now and the other called Summer Vibes, which I have been so excited to release, and it has done tremendously. So if you haven't heard it or if you know about it, check it out again. It's on all the streaming platforms. And I'm pretty excited about it.
Okay. And as I said, we really go overboard on this being a platform for women in business as well as women in music. So at that point, I'm going to turn right on over to the one and only Achickwitbeatz.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us. The fact that music's been a part of your life so long is really cool. And I was kind of digging the titles of those albums. Could you give us a little bit of background on that? Because
I can. Yeah. So it's interesting that this is kind of aligning with women in business. So Starting Now was the very first single that I put out. And it was titled that for the encouragement that it's never too late to start. And sometimes it takes a while to start where you want to, but it's okay to start wherever you are. So this was my Starting Now. This was my official release of my material, and it was definitely an eye-opener and a learning experience. Oh my goodness. I had no idea the amount of work that it required, even just to produce a single, and the layers, and then networking with people and, putting it out there, and the investment, the money that you invest and the time that you invest. And so I was really, really proud of it, really proud of it. And so that's why I titled it Starting Now. Summer Vibes was the follow-up song. And funny enough, I had been working on that song around the same time I started working on Starting Now. And I released it in the summer. I wanted to do kind of island vibe, just like kind of a Caribbean getaway, give you something nice to just kind of bob your head to, and, you know, feel just real relaxed and still upbeat. And that's where Summer Vibes came from. It kind of goes along with me as a fan of dancing as I grew up. Listened to a lot of dances, a lot of reggae music, a lot of R&B. And so I kind of fused some of the things that were important to me in this track. So I was like, this represents like everything I loved growing up. So I really want to make sure that what I put out first is like, hey, this is Brittany.
I love it. That sounds awesome. Sorry, as soon as you said that about, like, you know, loving to dance and how you mentioned growing up listening to reggae and R&B, and you know, it's a lot of great R&B out there now, but like in the era that I came up in, it was more common for it to be dance music as well.
Yes.
So it was just more commonplace. So that's kind of cool to keep those vibes. So yeah, shout out to you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, super fun.
Awesome. So yeah, you had mentioned not knowing all of the layers and stuff that went into it. And for anybody out there that's listening that might not understand, it is complicated. I mean, it's not something you could just, you know, put together and just throw out there. I mean, you technically can, but you're not going to get any real results that you'll be proud of. So yeah, since you started this journey, what would you say is the most valuable lesson you've learned?
Ooh-wee. So many lessons, but I'm going to branch off into two. And one, I'm going to say I definitely believe in putting out something that represents your best, and not just making things just to slap it out there, you know, like you said. There's a lot of people in the industry that will try to conform you to one style or another. They might say, hey, this is what we need for this or that. And, you know, but I feel like you should be genuine to you know, as an artist, and, you know, your business, you know, you are unique. So that's what I stick to. And I kind of also think you got to be, alongside that, you got to be true to you in terms of like your circle. You know, with business, it's important to know like who's around you, who you're networking with, and to be cautious of who is influencing you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you put so much into your business. You want it to flourish, you want it to go positively, but you got to be careful. Because there's some folks that might not have your vision.
Man, yeah, you just said a mouthful right there, didn't you, Breezy?
Oh yeah. So for those of you who are just tuning in, you're listening to the illustrious voice of our guest, Ms. Lady Sax, and she's a trailblazer in her own right. Now, how do you feel when either some of your people, or either through a conversation you had that led somewhere else, and then on the line you get a phone call from someone who you either idolize in the music industry, and next thing you know, you're on stage performing right beside them? Share with our listeners what that's like.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad you asked that, because recently I had an opportunity to perform alongside Najee. And let me tell you, it was extremely exciting. Oh my goodness. I was overwhelmed like 3 days before I even got on the stage, okay? You know, so much goes into it, you know, like, you know, you're, aside from like warming up your music and making sure you're on point and everything is like solid there, then you're like, as a female artist, you know, we present a look, you know, you want to present and look the part. So there's all that, worrying about your hair and what you look like and all, and, you know. But honestly, after being on stage and standing next to him and playing some things, there was nothing better. It was a dream come true. It was just overwhelmingly exciting. And I am just hoping for more of those type of moments, because I just remember being a little girl looking up to him and listening to the music, and, being in the car, my mom's back seat, like as a kid, like, wow, that's so great. That's cool. And then I'm on stage with him. So it's like, it's literally a dream.
That's awesome. That's actually my introduction to Najee in the backseat of the car while my parents were playing. So I get exactly what you mean. Yeah, that's so amazing.
So cool.
So yeah, with that being said, you're talking about being overwhelmed. So, I mean, did you have any performance anxiety at all? And if you did, how did you overcome it?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That goes with the territory. I think though, for me, because I play so much and I practice so much, whenever I just start blowing air through my horn, it just omits all the anxiety. It's just, I'm instantly calm again. I feel home and I feel centered. And I was nervous because at the end, he called me up on stage and we hadn't practiced anything. I didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what song or anything. He just said, hey, get your horn, come on up stage. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to play? And right there, it's like, you got to be ready. What key are we in? What are we jamming to? He's like, girl, just go ahead. And wow, I was able to deliver, and that was exciting and still very scary.
Whoa. I mean, that's phenomenal, isn't it, Breezy?
Right. Well, see, now coming from the male perspective, see, there's two sides to every coin. Okay, the way that you're sharing with our audience and so forth, as a male, see, it could have been him that felt that the star power. It could have been him that felt the vibe in you. Okay, that's what I'm saying. There's two sides to every coin, and so it sounds like an amicable performance. But believe me, as a male, he probably received some sparks, some music energy, some the professionalism and so forth himself. So see, that was a two-sided.
Wow. Well, I appreciate your insight. That's good insight.
And especially call you back up there, like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as this year is progressing or has progressed, okay, now pretty soon we're going to turn the page and we'll be in another year and so forth. So share with our listeners what you look forward to be in that new chapter with the 22 coming up in a couple of months. So what's on tap? What's in store?
Well, I am actually working on more music, as any fluid saxophonist would do. You just keep pumping out music and you keep finding things that inspire you. And so I'm working on some great things with some big artists. The names I'm gonna not mention just quite yet. You'll have to check it out. But they are well known in the industry. Big respects to them. And I cannot wait to put out my first EP. So I've released 2 singles. The next project I'm looking to release will have more than just a single on it. And hopefully a really exciting music video to come along with it. So you're going to get the visual, you're going to get the music, you're going to get the excitement, and you're going to get all of Brittany Atterberry, huh?
See, you heard it here. And don't be surprised if as soon as it drops, we're going to say, see, she told us it was coming, y'all. Can y'all believe it? It's here.
It's here.
Yes. And so now, as we scoot back to the original topic that I brought up at the beginning of the show, women in business, okay, women in music. Okay, share with our listeners what that aspect of life is like, and what direction you feel you're going with, in as far as that realm is concerned.
I think it is both a wonderful thing and both a very challenging thing. I think what makes it wonderful is that we do get a chance to stand out and be unique. But that also makes it challenging because some of the counterparts that we deal with may not know how to speak with us as a woman, and their approach and how they come can be very off-putting. Okay. So if I could politically state that, so it's a fine line, and it's a fine line of wanting to be successful and not being looked at as just something sexual, something that is just oh yeah, I'll help you for a favor type of thing. And really being respected for the work that you've put into it, the years that you have studied and got to where you are. It's kind of a slap in the face if, oh, well, you're just pretty, so that's why, nah, back up. So, but I hope that I am an example for other women, whether they are younger, older, or wherever, to still power through and, focus on what you want to do, what you want to be, and, not be discouraged. And so important to find your team, find your group of people who are going to support you and who are going to empower you when times get difficult.
I wish I had an air horn to play right behind that. Right.
Yes. Okay. So now, see, now when I was young, I played clarinet as well. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Why did you stop?
Okay. Oh no, I was a person. I was a kid of many means, so I several instruments at the same time. But now, which I'm glad to have had that experience. So now, in being a trailblazer and being someone that young people look up to, and being someone that other women in business look to, as well as men. Okay, what do you feel your forecast is for the next 5 years in the life of Miss Lady Specs?
I really, really hope to build something bigger than myself, and that's giving back. And I have been sitting here thinking about what that is going to look like. And I kind of have this vision of a large audience of people being, one, inspired, motivated, given resources to do what it is they love. But I'm just not quite sure how that's going to fizzle out. However, I am looking forward to doing some shows on some big stages, doing some of the festivals, and Cancun Fest and all those really cool things. And a really big dream of mine is to play with Dave Koz on his cruise. I don't know if you've ever been on one of those things, but it is just amazing. There's just music all day long, all night, and he's just a fantastic guy who I look up to. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping I'll continue to put out good music and inspire the masses, and also send some positive vibes wherever I go.
Okay.
Let's just say you went ahead and spoke that into existence right now.
I'm speaking it. And that's hard too on the air, Hey, we're gonna call it.
Yes. Once again, we'll be able to say, y'all heard it here. Remember, she said that's what was gonna happen. So yeah. I mean, sincerely appreciate you coming on. You've dropped so much knowledge and, sharing your wisdom and your story with us. Really, really appreciate you. And I hope we can have you back on the show again sometime soon.
Thank you. I hope so too. You all have been great. And thank you so much for having me. And to all of your listeners, thank you for taking time out of your day to check us out.
Okay. And as we get ready to go out the door, share one more time for those who didn't have a pen or paper or pad or whatever, your social media connections where they can follow you or get information or purchase from you and whatever.
Absolutely. So first place I'm going to tell you to go to is my personal website, and that's www.BrittanyAtterberry.com, and I'm going to spell it out for you. BrittanyAtterberry.com. ATTERBERRY.com. There you'll find my store. I have my singles there. You can get autographed singles delivered right to you. The holiday season is coming up, so it's a great gift giver. Make sure you purchase some and, give the gift of music and joy. I also will have t-shirts available on my website. And then you can also find me there through Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is Brittany Atterberry. Instagram is Ms. MZ Lady Sax with 2 X's on the end. And I look forward to hearing from you. Stop by, like a video. You can find me on YouTube as well. Brittany Atterberry or Atter Music, whichever form you feel comfortable with.
Awesome.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna look to have you back at some point, and just giving you best wishes for all the great things that you're doing.
Wow.
Keep rubbing elbows with special people and so on and so forth. So a big shout out to the one and only Ms. Lady Sax, and for joining in with us today.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Take care. God bless everybody.
All right. And that was really a great interview. It was great to have her on the show. I really appreciated the energy, vibes, and all the good information. Just sharing her story with us. That's always a delight when we have somebody like that come through.
Yeah, education is excellence. And so when you have excellence, there's nothing but positivity in there. So yeah, that was really cool.
Yes. All right. We're going to take a quick pause for the cause, and then we'll be back with music industry news right after this.
Okay.
to begin with a fact. Whether in a small town like McAllen and the Rio Grande, or in Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles, it is business. Big business.
Alrighty, and we're back with music industry news. Spotify says that their subscriptions have reached 172 million in the third quarter, up by 7 million over the previous quarter. So, I mean, they're doing numbers. The premium subscriber growth translated specifically to a premium revenue of 2.52 billion in the third quarter, which was up by 6% compared to the last quarter. So their average monthly revenue per user is now $5.03 as of the third quarter. So they're making money. Let's hope that the artists get some of that too.
Yeah. Well, some stats came out. Subscriptions are really the way. So, even for the individual singer-songwriter, hint, you might want to set yourself up some kind of way where you've got some subscriptions with your music going on too. So works for the big man, but works for the little man on the street or woman on the street just as well.
Excellent point. Yes. All right. And, last week we told you that Apple Music accidentally spilled the beans that they were going to be launching on the PS5. And that did actually occur. And so it happened to prematurely leak when a Reddit user had noticed the Apple Music icon on the PS5's console menu, but it wasn't actually connected to anything. And they had also made an oopsie on their website. So once news caught of that, then they took it down temporarily. So, now Apple Music is on the PS5. Of course, they're on all the Apple software, hardware, Android, Amazon Echo, Chrome, operating system, Sonos, all over the place. So, it's kind of been interesting to watch the way Apple Music has been operating just throughout the whole transition from being iTunes to Apple Music. Of course, everybody knows about that huge Beats buyout that, they've just been paying attention to what to acquire. And even their purchase of Shazam made it easier for people to want to use Apple Music. So anytime you Shazam a song, they have at the bottom like, hey, you want to go ahead and listen to this on Apple Music? So it's kind of interesting to watch and see where they've been placing themselves. So, they've meticulously gone where the people are to make it easier for them to be the Apple choice.
Yeah, well, that one step called trademarking, that's very, very important. So again, as I just referenced, the little man on the street or the little woman on the street with their music business, singer-songwriters or performers or whatever, if you're thinking that, trademarking your business is a little bit on the expensive side or whatever, yes, it is. But on the backside of that, that means that singles it out so that only you are the proprietor. You can earn proprietary income from that. And so because I know somebody personally right here in Atlanta that had a really good thing going, and then next thing you know, somebody in Los Angeles popped up using the exact same name. Okay, so he politely got on a plane, flew out there, and showed up at the event with a cease and desist letter. And hey, so, things happen. Things happen, sure do. Yep.
Absolutely. So, yeah, a lesson to be learned from Apple Music. Pay attention to where your fans are. Make sure that you're everywhere that they are. It's something that we talk about often. Think about more than just the United States popular platforms when you're distributing your music. So make sure that you're everywhere. The world is vast, and there are a lot of people that may like what you have to offer. So yeah, be where the people are.
Absolutely.
All right. And so, since we're talking about the streaming services and whatnot, this is a good time to mention some of the stuff that you may have seen kind of bouncing around in various headlines. So, of course, we had to take our time to make sure that we could absorb all the information to share it with you in a way that made sense. So basically what's going on, and it's going to go down next year, but songwriters and publishers versus digital streaming services. So in 2022, the National Music Publishers Association, NMPA for short, and the Nashville Songwriters Association International, NSAI for short, are going to go head to head against Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, because of YouTube, and Pandora. So back in 2018, it was some big news that the Copyright Royalty Board had decided that the 10.5% rate paid by streaming services to publishers would rise to 15.1%. And so they were going to do it in about 1% increments every year, all the way through 2022. So the issue with this is that some of these companies have been fighting back about this for a while. So we still don't know the outcome, if that's going to get overturned or if, it's going to stay that way. So far, those rates are being protested by Spotify, Amazon, and Google. So you notice Apple isn't in that mix there, but however, they say that they're going to go along with whatever the final ruling of that is. So they've all decided to issue their proposals to the Copyright Royalties Board, which all of it's public information now. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper into a specific company, you can. But as of right now, Spotify says that for the years 2023 through 2027, it should be 10.5%. Because remember, they never wanted to do the 15.1% anyway. Google says that it should be whatever the final ruling is. So whether that's 10.5 or 15.1, they want it to continue for the next 5 years. Apple says the same thing. Pandora says the same thing. Well, with the exception, they just want it to be flat out 10.5% as well. And Amazon decided to go a different route and said, hey, how about we make it 10.54%? So that little extra bump of 0.04%, I guess, is supposed to make songwriters and publishers happy. But we'll see what actually happens, because now the NMPA and the NSAI are trying to actually get the rate up to 20% and make what they're calling a 4-part formula of revenue. So 40% of what labels or artists receive, or either $1.50 per subscriber, or just a flat rate of $0.0015 dollars per play. So, that would be the first time that it would actually be per play instead of doing it the way streaming services do it now. So, this is a really big battle coming up that we're not seeing talked about on a wider basis for some reason, but it's just something to be aware of and kind of keep an eye on it, because the more that streaming services actually pay the artists, the much better artists will be. So a little tidbit there. Like I said, it's been pieces of it all over the place, but we gathered it together for you, and hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense on this end, and I hope it does to all the listeners as well.
All right, shout out to these women. Quality Control Music promoted Simone Mitchell to president, Tamika Howard to executive vice president, and Amber Mitchell to VP of Artist Relations. So the CEO, Pierre Thomas, said that these women are the backbone of this QC family and have had their hand in building some of the best musical careers in rap. Their promotions and elevated positions have been well earned. So I'm like, wow, that's a awesome thing for the CEO to say, to recognize how hard these women have been working and actually, put them in the right position. So, just in case you're not aware of Quality Control, they're home to artists like Migos, City Girls, Lil Baby, Lil Yachty, Lakia, and many more. So, kudos to these women for getting what they deserve.
Oh yeah. And shouts out to them, because that's some strong stuff. I'm always happy to see women taking bold steps in big industries, as well as creating their own in smaller industries and realms. So yeah, that's some really good stuff, and I'm really happy to hear that. That's positivity in its best form.
Yes, yes. And since we're on the topic of ladies, MC Light got her own sitcom called Partners in Rhyme. So she's going to be playing Lana Crawford, a rapper who was just dropped from her label in the midst of being in a whole bunch of debt. So she decides to transition from being MC to manager when she starts to manage her niece Lucius T's rap career. So I'm super excited about it. I love the fact that MC Light has been able to fit in so many multiple lanes. So, I mean, she's just been doing big things like, running Sunny Girl and then helping out her friend, the financial guru, Lynn Richardson, being a great actress. So, she's just been doing so many tremendous things. So definitely, shout out to her for that. And there's a little lesson in that for artists too. So, if there's other things that you're passionate about, there's a way to kind of put your artistic side to it and make it work for you.
Yeah, and plus we just saw her 2 weeks ago on a music broadcast on ABC TV and Hulu. So she made a lot of great, impactful comments on that scenario as well. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yes, absolutely. A legend in her own right. And, not part of our news cycle, but in a related shout out to Cardi B for hosting the AMAs, and Saweetie being a musical guest on SNL later this month. So yeah, ladies are doing it big, and so shout out to all of them.
Yeah, it's amazing because last Friday I happened to see portions of the Tamron Hall show television broadcast, and they were doing Halloween costumes and so forth, but Tamron came out and began the show dressed as Cardi B in late stages of pregnancy. So that was really refreshing and kind of funny, and but she did take the time to speak a lot about Cardi B after she made her entrance, and that was good stuff. Oh. And as well as seeing the commercials for the restaurant commercials with Megan Thee Stallion. Yes. I've been seeing them every day. So good. So shouts out to her as well.
Yes. And guess what? You heard it here first because we brought it to you a few weeks ago, right before those commercials dropped. So yeah, keep it locked right here. All right. And some good stuff here. Crates and Fat Beats decided to join together to establish a press-to-order global vinyl distribution network for retailers. So this deal will let Crates allow select vinyl projects to be picked for in-store distribution through Fat Beats. So, they're all over North America, connected to so many different independent stores. So this will be pretty cool to kind of see how this comes down. And, that way they don't have to worry about waste because it'll be the prepaid orders. Good stuff. Something to keep in mind if you're looking at doing vinyl distribution. So even though some of these will be selectively available in different stores, it's definitely worth checking into and seeing, if maybe that's something you can jump on possibly.
Absolutely.
All right. And speaking of which, TuneCore artists now, TuneCore decided to strike a partnership with Peloton Music. So now, TuneCore artists, if you're interested in having your music distributed to Peloton Music, you can actually get to it through the store manager now and select that in your account dashboard. So just in case you haven't noticed, or if you've got music that's already out there on TuneCore, make sure you check that out because, Peloton is pretty big. It's in a lot of different homes. So if there's a chance that your music can be in there, why not go for it? And especially if you've got something that's kind of motivating and great to work out to, that's definitely a place that you need to be.
Yes, ma'am. Go for it.
Yes. And, something kind of interesting has been happening with Audio Mob. So Nas kind of co-signed that in-game audio ads are a dope medium for promoting music. So Audio Mob's highest profile to success has been Nas. So with their in-game promotion being used for his King's Disease 2 album, according to them, the ads had click-through rates that were 1,275% higher than the typical return seen from traditional in-game banners. So, I mean, if Nas has had that great kind of success, guess what? You know, you can kind of grab some of that too. So definitely worth checking into Audio Mob to see, you know, what kind of rates they're offering, because advertising is a huge portion of success. I mean, you can have the best album in the world, you can have the most talented voice, the best bars in the world, but people aren't going to hear them unless you properly promote it. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. And another tip, we're going to follow up on a news tip concerning Damian Dash approaching Jay-Z about squashing their beef. And, you know, we spoke about that. You did a news story on that several months ago about you know, the dispute between them. But see, now time has gone by, and guess what? They're getting ready to settle that, okay, and move forward. So, you know, which is a good thing. But we'll dig and get some more info on you that for next week's show.
All right, and this is pretty cool. Run the Jewels' manager, Amechi Uzogwe, I hope I pronounced that right, but he's going to be co-teaching in Ohio University in Athens a music business course called Record Labels, Marketing, and Distribution. So the new course is going to be focused on music marketing, the operational strategies of labels, and distribution outlets. So students will be able to make their own marketing plans and active strategies for album releases in 2022. So, you know, definitely some good news there. You know, Run the Jewels has been doing some phenomenal things. I mean, I have personally just been in awe of how many places you hear their music. So it doesn't matter what kind of movie it is, TV show, pretty much. I mean, it's like they're everywhere, almost like Mariah Carey and her Christmas songs around this time of year. But it's just been so strategic. So the opportunity to be able to learn from their manager, I think, is just phenomenal. So, you know, kudos to anybody that's taken that course. I do not know if it's available online. That would definitely be something to check into if you're interested.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, then. Okay, this news has been buzzing all over Twitter for a while, and all the different music news outlets. I mean, just everywhere. Big Sean left Good Music to, quote unquote, start getting a bigger cut. So, you know, once the news dropped, somebody had tweeted and was like, oh man, no more Big Sean on Good News. And his response to that was, that's a forever brotherhood. But business-wise, I had to start getting a bigger cut. I worked my way out of that deal. So it's no hard feelings there. It's just about the money. And that's a good lesson to be learned, because, yeah, you could do whatever you want with your friends, but when you recognize that maybe that initial contract that you signed wasn't really in your best benefit, you know, he didn't let the friendship override that. He knows what he needs to do, and he's going to go ahead and do it. And that's pretty awesome. So, you know, last year when Kanye West went on his big anti-label rant, saying that he would return the master recording rights to all of the records released by Good Music. And back then, Big Sean said, thank you. You know, this will help so much. So he's like, yo, I need the cash. I love you. But yeah, I'll go ahead and take the rights to my music back. So there's a lesson in that. You know, everybody's just talking about him leaving Good Music. But I think the news story actually lies in the why. And, you know, it's definitely a great message to artists out there.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yes. Yeah, I also thought that the terminology, I worked my way out of that deal, is heavy, because you hear so many artists talking about their desire to get signed. And typically by the time they get signed by a record label, they've already put in most of the groundwork. They've already got the fans, because labels are basically buying on to the movement that you've already started. So now to feel like you've got to work harder to just get out of it, it kind of goes against the way most people are thinking that record label relationships work. So, you know, cautionary tale, word to the wise, and shout out to him for getting his bag.
Okay.
All right. And Utopia Music has acquired Nashville-based Lyric Financial, and so they're expanding into the U.S. So Lyric Financial was founded in 2007, and so far up to date, they've advanced over $100 million in royalties to artists. So Utopia says that by buying it, they're trying to build a tech platform that enables accounting transparency, efficiency, and trying to keep the music industry from being so fragmented and giving faster payments to the creative who actually have the rights to the music. So this is the second company Utopia's bought up in the last couple months, because they also bought Quincy Jones's Musimap in September, the emotional data enrichment company that we've been telling you about a few times on the show. So, just pay attention to what's going on. They're trying to make sure that the payments are streamlined and artists get what they deserve.
Yeah, and I got some statements about that I'm gonna come forth with in a couple of minutes. But yeah, that was a strong news story. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And last but not least, Tupac Museum is opening in Los Angeles with the blessing of his estate. So it's going to be called Tupac Shakur, Wake Me When I'm Free. And it's set to open January 21st in downtown Los Angeles. The tickets are going to go on sale at wakemewhenimfree.com starting at 10 a.m. November 12th. So make sure you write that down. You can sign up online to try to get access to pre-sale tickets.
There's a never-ending flow of music involvements that comes with the industry. Okay, whether it's up, down, left, right, whatever. Up, down, left, right, whatever. I mean, so you gotta have money to be in it, or you gotta make money to survive. And so get your plan of action together on that. Don't go in there tipping lightly. You got to come in there with a bang to make things happen. So, we're wishing everybody who's involved in music the best of success. And so, we just try to give some tips here and there about the industry itself. So just stay along.
Yes. All right. And that does it for this edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Thank you for hanging out with us. And we definitely hope you'll come back next week to do it again.
Yeah. Well, you're listening to one of the world's most influential producers, and that's Achickwitbeatz. So make sure that you visit Achickwitbeatz.com, partake of all the great works that she has available on that site, and set yourself up with some music consulting, because it could never be anything else but a plus. Okay, so we've been knowing each other for years. I've seen the track record for years. So right here in this great woman of music, you need to link up no matter where you are around the globe. But as well as with all of the music industry notes that we give here on this show, you always hear mergers, you always hear money, you always hear conflicts, you always hear somebody's unhappy about this, that, the other. So when you go tipping into the music industry, make sure that you get yourself set up with an adequate law firm, not just one person, but a firm of folks that can help you in many different ways. So, and I specialize in that. So reach out to me at Breezy Gipson on IG, reach out to Achickwitbeatz on IG, plus other platforms. And we can get you the help that you need and make sure that your trip is rosy down that highway.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And thank you for that. And once again, to the listeners, thank you. You know where to find us, same time, same place. Tune in, tell a friend, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.